G'day folks, Ben from Snowy's today showing you this little guy, which is the Flextail Tiny Pump.
Hit it.
Handy and very affordable little pump for hiking expeditions, but also a handy one for camping as well. Before we dive in, we've got loads more content like this on our channel, so make sure you like and subscribe below. Now let's jump into the product. Now this little guy, believe it or not, is a pump that you can use to pump up and deflate air mattresses. Probably best suited for hiking mats, but you can also use it for larger mats as well. We'll demonstrate a little bit on that shortly. Now it weighs about 45 grams, about 5.4 centimeters in height, about 4 centimeters in diameter. Extra little port here, which is where the air comes out, that sticks out on the side, and you've got a deflate valve here, so it sucks the air in here and blows it out there. Just the branding on the outside, USB-C charging point here with a little light here that lights up red or green to show you the battery charge indicator. 800 milliamp hour battery inside, and on the bottom here is the button that switches it on and off. Now with your pump, you get various things in the box, little storage bag and an instruction manual, and a USB-C charging cable, so you can plug it in the side here to charge the battery. So the 800 milliamp hour battery inside gives about 20 minutes of runtime. We'll pump up this mat underneath here shortly to show you how quickly it does that. That'll give you a rough idea on how many pumps or inflations you get out of a single charge. And you get these various attachments here, which try to suit as wide a range of valves and inflatable objects, I suppose, as possible, including vacuum bags. So this is a threaded attachment that you can screw onto a vacuum bag and then put the pump here to suck the air out of. Couple of different attachments there with different diameters depending on the valve that you've got. Things like pool toys or inflatable pool toys that have sort of a valve that you can insert this into, and then these two are sort of used together. You can use that one separately, but then this attaches on here, which gives you a silicone attachment that's a little bit more flexible for different types of valves. So if we have a look at the mats underneath here, this valve here, this is a cedar summit mat, so this has got a one-way valve in here. I would use this attachment here to fit inside that valve there to inflate that guy. The one underneath is a thermarest mat, which has got a slightly different valve on the outside here. I can use this silicone attachment here to fit over the top of that valve there to inflate that one. Below that is actually an X-Ped mat. This has got inflate and deflate valves, which would be a similar attachment to the Cedar Summit mat here. That will fit inside here. There are limitations though when you get to this type of valve, because there are no actual attachments. This is the biggest one. No attachments that will work for a large valve like this, but this is getting up into the heavier duty camping mats, whereas this is probably better suited to the lightweight mats like what you see here. Now to attach these to the pump, you're going to attach for inflate on this side here. So when I turn this on, the air comes out here and it sucks in here. So if I'm inflating this mat here, for example, I would attach this onto this point here and attach this to the valve. If I wanted to deflate that using this mat, I would attach it to the top here, just pushes in place, attach that over there and deflate it. In this instance, I'm actually going to be inflating this mat here, and I want this attachment here. So I'm going to put it on the inflate side there. Just get these valves out the way. And to turn this on, we use the button on the bottom here. So 2 presses of this button turns it on. I've now got air coming out here. So what I'm going to do is grab myself a stopwatch on my phone here. I'm going to attach this to the valve here, and we'll time it to see how quickly it inflates this mat. So that was 55 seconds. Let's call it a minute for this guy to pump up this mat here. Now this is an 8 centimeter thick hiking mat. So it's not the thinnest by any means, a fair bit of air went into it. So you could technically do that 20 times with this little guy here if you're adding deflation in there as well, which you wouldn't need to with this pump, but I'll show you a bit more on deflation shortly. But the real benefit of this is you're using this to pump your air bed up, so you're not blowing the moisture from your air inside of the mat, you're just using a little pump here to inflate that. Now I want to show you how you can use this little guy as a deflation aid for larger mats like this one here. So this is a 10 centimeter thick mat, probably more for camping. It's a Cedar Summit branded mat, so it packs up quite small on its own, but quite often you need to roll these up a couple of times to squeeze all the air out to get them to pack up nice and small, but you can actually use this to assist you to do that. Now, you probably want a different attachment. This has got a reversible valve here, so I've actually turned this around into deflate mode. So this little one-way silicone valve here allows air out but not back in. And this attachment that I use to inflate the other mat will squeeze inside there, but it can impede this little valve. It sort of flaps around and gets in the way of this. And I've found this silicone attachment actually works quite well in this instance, in that it fits right over the top of that whole valve there because it's quite flexible. So push that right over the top. You need to use this little adapter here in conjunction with that valve. Push this onto the pump. Just push this firmly into the top there. I'll attach this on here. So this is now in deflate mode. So it's sucking air out through the middle here and blowing it out through the side here. I'm going to put my stopwatch down here and time it. What I'm going to do is as this sucks the air out, I'm going to go to the foot end of the mat. And I'm actually going to roll as this sucks the air out. And what that's saving me from doing is having to roll it twice. So I'll let this suck a heap of air out to start with, and then I'll start to roll it and we'll get a nice tight roll out of it. So we'll get this going. Now that deflated most of this mat in, well, I've stopped that, in just over 3 minutes. Now, you could potentially do it quicker if you rush to squeeze all the air out yourself, but I put no effort into packing that up myself just then. So using this as a deflation aid just took the muscle out of having to roll this mat up, and I've got a fairly tight roll on that one there the first time. So I'm thinking particularly when it's a hot temp, you're sitting in the hot tent, you've got to roll the mat up a few times to squeeze the air out. This is going to do most of the work for you. If you want, attach this to the mat, have it suck most of the air out while you pack your sleeping bag away, come back and just finish rolling the mat up. Now I haven't mentioned this, but it does move or pumps air at about 180 litres per minute, and it will inflate to 4 kPa. Handy and very affordable little pump for hiking expeditions, but also a handy one for camping as well. Check them out online at snowies.com.au.